Hello everyone, my name is Matthew Bosley, and today I'll be going over the history of Linux. I'll be going over what Linux is, the parts of Linux, the history of the one that made it, and what Linux is used for now. So what is Linux? In the simplest term, it is a free, open source operating system, or OS for short, for computers. It is based on a different operating system called Unix. It can be used on many devices, making it versatile. Because it's free, a lot of businesses like to use it to save money for their servers and desktops at times. Next, I'll be talking about the different parts of Linux. Linux is made of many parts. The bootloader is the first part of Linux. When you first boot the computer, it's the bootloader that loads, and the bootloader goes through the process of booting to load the kernel. The kernel is the core of Linux. It is the lowest part at which the operating system works. It controls the hardware. It controls the CPU, access to memory, any peripheral devices. Then you got the daemons. They load once the kernel's up. They are small applications that run in the background to keep the computer running. And then you have the OS shell. The OS shell lets you interact with the operating system. It's also known as command line. It lets you control the OS using text. And then you have the graphics server, which is what actually puts the picture on the screen. And then if you want, you can download a desktop environment, which lets you interact with it as if you're using a desktop, like Windows, but on Linux. And then you have applications, which is everything else you can use with the computer. I think if you download the desktop environment, you could think of applications being like Notepad or Firefox. Next, we will be going over the history of the one that made it. History of the one that made Linux. The one that made the first Linux kernel was Linus Torvalds. At the time, he was an undergraduate at the University of Helsinki. The funny thing is, he made it because he was tired of the operating system they were using in school at the time. It was not as friendly as it was to use now, but it became a lot better after all the years of people working on it and making different versions and additions to it. Linux is used in a lot more ways in life than you would know or notice. Next, I'll be going over what it's used for. So what is Linux used for now? Linux has evolved a lot over the years. Before, it was just used on a desktop, but now it's evolved and can be used on a range of devices. It's used on everything from smartphones to supercomputers. It can be used as a desktop. It's modified for Android phones. It's on servers. For example, web servers, mail servers, storage servers. And many businesses like to use it because it's a free OS, and it being free saves them a lot of money. And fun fact, Linux is run on over 500 of the top fastest supercomputers in the world. Have you ever thought about before? If you're not using a Windows, Mac, or iOS, it could be that you're using something with Linux. And for all you know, you could be interacting with a Linux server just by accessing your favorite website. I hope you learned about Linux. I hope you enjoyed my video, and I hope you have a nice day. Thank you for watching.